Happy fall. I knew I needed to get some stacks of books ready as soon as I walked out for work one morning and the air was cold. That first, cold morning of the year, I feel like it's so perfect. As you can see, created a little TBR for myself of things that I've been wanting to read and that would work well for the fall. So let's do a little fall TBR. Okay, I'm already halfway through this one. This is Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, but it's been... That's why it's number 1 on the TBR, because number 1 is to finish this one and a couple of others. I've been enjoying this so thoroughly. It is a grouping of separate stories that eventually run together. There's eventually a purpose why each of these stories are being told in tandem. I can't really describe it more than that. But David Mitchell's writing is so amazing and I just love to get lost in it. Next I have Saving Us, a climate scientist's case for hope and healing in a divided world by Katherine Hayhoe. If you watch my last vlog, which you should, I got a bunch of climate books in an attempt to combat, the fear and everything. Trying to make myself more aware. I'm trying to make myself more learned and less avoidant. And so this is the first of the stack that I'm going to be picking up, which I'm really excited about because I would like hope and healing in this divided world. That would be great. Katherine Hayhoe, like she says, is a climate scientist, so she has an expert opinion, you could say, on the subject, and I'm really excited to see what she has to say. Also, for that same climate change video, I am looking for fictional books that do the same, so I will be rereading A Psalm for the Wild-Built and A Prayer for the Crown-Shy, because it is a post-apocalyptic world, but a hopeful perspective of one, so that's why it's made it onto my TBR. I have already read both of these. I read actually Prayer for the Crown-Shy at the beginning of this year and A Psalm for the Wild-Built at the end of last year, and I did like A Psalm for the Wild-Built more, mostly because I feel like there should be a third one. There should really be a third one, but all internet resources say there's not going to be, so until there's a third one, I'm gonna be sad. Because it really feels like there should be a third one here. That's okay. I'm still gonna read them because I still did love and enjoy them enough for me to read them again. Next, we have a book I picked up last Halloween, and didn't manage to read last year. This is The Monk by Matthew Lewis. This is a recommendation by my favorite Emmy, the original Gothic novel. Written before anything that you can think of Gothic novel. This was it. It was a changing point because the level of depravity and horribleness that is written was not often written about at this period of time. Unfortunately, this is at the bottom of the list, so if I don't get to it, then I won't get to it. I will get to the other ones first. But that is how I kind of feel about classics, and I do have quite a few classics on this list, and so I can only read so many at a time. And I'll get to it eventually. Written in 1796, is about a monk who turns depraved and goes through this spiral of madness and sin and things like that. I'm excited to read it. A true classic that is definitely on the top of my list, specifically for October, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I read We Always Lived in a Castle like last fall, I think. It was either last fall or the fall before, and I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't necessarily as scary as I wanted to be, and I do believe this one is scarier, so I'm very looking forward to that. No live organism can continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality. That's all the back says. So, I'm in for a ride. Let's get this over with. Speaking of reality, It is time. It is finally time. House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danilewski. If you know, you know, okay? But like, I'm terrified. I'm terrified. I've never been terrified by a book before, but I'm terrified. This is on a TBR because it's part of a video, so I can't really not read it, and I am fucking terrified. That's all that there is to say. This book, one, look how huge it is. It's as big as my head. And then two, everybody says it changes their life, and like, what if I don't want my life changed? What if I like my life? I don't. But the book doesn't need to know that, okay? This is a story of... It was described to me before I read it, before I picked it up, as a couple finds out that their apartment is bigger on the inside. And that's all I've ever known about it. I come to you after having read the first, maybe like 10 pages. I've been presented none of that information. So take with that a grain of salt. I don't know how better to describe this book to you, and I'm sorry. The best way I can describe it is a mindfuck in the form of paper, because this is, I mean, and House of Leaves, I guess it kind of gives me the fall, feeling, the fall vibe, the spooky vibe, so there's no better time to pick it up than now. That's why the universe put it on my TBR, because I did not choose to put this on my TBR, but I am hoping to come out of this with a new favorite, because I do know people with similar reading tastes as I have that really love this. I'm just gonna be honest with this now. This is another recommendation from Emmy, and if you give me any shit about how many of her recommendations I buy, you can't. Go watch her channel and you will want to buy them all too, okay? This is The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. This is a definite, I'm reading this year because I bought it on sale at like the beginning of January, maybe beginning of February, and so it's been sitting on my bookshelf waiting for fall to come so that I can read it. And I am so happy that it's finally here, because I've heard that this is amazing, and it's all short stories too. I think short stories are so amazing for fall, for Halloween. You know, I think they evoke such of that like tension of mystery, because they're a short story. They're only a small blip in whatever they're trying to portray. Like, they're so good. Like, horror, it's so good in the horror genre. Like, short stories are always, yes, I still haven't read The Picture of Dorian Gray. I know, okay, I know. And I know that every time that I put down a book, that my next inclination is to pick this one up. I just haven't picked it up yet. Obviously The Picture of Dorian Gray is about a man with a picture, and he like doesn't age, I don't think. Maybe I should pick it up and see. Natalie. Next, we have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is another classic that if I don't get to it, I will be pushing back, but that's okay. You know, we can't read all books, and there's a very large stack here in case you haven't noticed. Daphne is about a rich man who marries his second wife. His second wife comes home, and then all over his house is just memories or belongings to his dead wife, his dead first wife. And so it's kind of a ghost story in a way. I've heard about the stage play that they wrote, the musical that they wrote, and I loved everything I saw from that. So that was actually my first drive into Rebecca, into seeing what this book had to offer. So I have never read anything by Daphne du Maurier either. So I would really love to see how her and I click as author-reader pair, because I do hear that she is amazing to read if you enjoy her writing style. The final one. Drum roll. Dracula by Bram Stoker. I've never read Dracula. This is the Edward Gorey version. It's velvet. My boyfriend and I are thinking of picking this up as our Halloween read that we read together. A few months ago, we both came home from our separate hangouts, both drunk, and he looks at me and he goes, "Do you want to read Dracula?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I pick it up in the middle of life. It's like 2:30 in the morning, and I read the introduction with him. While I don't remember very much of it, I do remember that I was blown away by the writing style. I feel like I can normally tell if I vibe with the writing style within the first like chapter. Like with Frankenstein, I still have not read Frankenstein either, but that's because I've tried to read it quite a few times, and each time I just get stopped and I just put it down and I just find something else that I'd rather read. This, the introduction, just the beginning, just the first like 5 pages of the book, that was like all we read, sounded amazing. This is up there in the TBR. This is what we're ready. This is not, and there you go. That is my fall TBR. Those are the things that I am expecting to be able to read in the next couple of months. Don't hold me to it because I'm definitely 69% mood reader and will ditch a book at the drop of a hat. Hopefully I survive reading House of Leaves. If you don't hear from me, you know what killed me. I'd love to know what you guys are reading for fall, because this is a majority of my fall Halloween books that I own, and so for next year I'm gonna need some more. Let me know your favorite thrillers, because I've been getting into them more than I've ever been into them. I just read The Paris Apartment and it was really good and I really enjoyed it. But I'm kind of a newbie in that space, so I don't know where to go from here. So if you're out there and you got some spooky thrillers, mysteries that you think I might like, let me know. I hope you guys are having happy fall. I hope you guys are taking care of yourself, because it's been a long summer and it's time to hibernate, right? At least that's the way that I feel. Ready for summer to be over so I can stop making plans and sit in my home and read finally. If you liked this video, I hope that you like it. I hope that you comment. I hope that you subscribe. I'm really close to 100 subscribers, so if you'd like to join our tiny community that I'm trying to build here, I would love to see you, love to chat with you. Shout out to all of my lovely ladies that are out there always supporting me, like Brooklyn and Michaela Reeds and Sammy. I hope you guys are having a great day too, and I will see you next time.